Folks, thanks for joining us. Right now, we're on the road to release for Out of the Park 27. We're talking in-game experience with Matt Arnold. He is the Director of Development for OOTP Baseball. I tell you what, it's a stats-driven game at its core, but visually speaking, holy cow, like it's the immersion level is just making some huge leaps forward. Let's dive right in with the stadium experience. You're playing the game. And never before have we actually seen the impact of weather visually speaking on the game. And from the beginning on this trailer, we saw it at Fenway Park. Can you dive in a little bit on that in-game experience with the dynamic weather, Matt?
Yeah, so for the whole session today, I'll just start with giving all the credit basically to Joran, our 3D developer, who does amazing and wonders at everything with the whole in-game experience. But yeah, so one of the key points we wanted to go through that he was like, I found this cool way to do things, so let's do it, was to really push towards making sure that the in-game view, the in-game experience actually matches real life. I mean, that's kind of at the crux of things, the whole the biggest point that we're aiming for this entire release. And one of those points that's always kind of irks you a little bit in the past is you're playing at a game and then you get the little note that says, oh, it started raining.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of like, yeah, but you don't see it, right? So just one of the big ones going through this year is going through and adding in that extra level of making sure that the in-game weather experience matches the core view, right? So when it's raining, you see that it's raining. When it's sunny, you see that it's sunny. When it's cloudy, things are a little darker on the field, right? So it's making sure that when you're playing out the game, you feel like you're there. And that's the point. It's at times is a little bit frustrating because you do sit there and try to stare through the fog and try to actually see where your center fielder is standing on the field because it's a little foggy out there, but it brings you in and it's honestly just cool to look at. So
yeah. I think a lot of our Giants fans out there are going to love that with McCovey Cove and the fog rolling in San Francisco. Just adds a different layer. I mean, no pun intended, but another layer to the game and a layer of fog rolling in. It's be really fun to see. Lighting and shadows, right? Different things here, but we're talking, I'm seeing right away, and I hope the people who have played previous editions of Out of the Park notice a difference. But holy cow, like the modeling and the shadow, everything. Can you talk a little bit about how hard the team worked to really elevate the level of, for lack of a better word, the graphics of the game?
Yeah, and that's kind of similar to the first point. Was again, Joran basically took a big pass through, and as you're sort of digging in and looking at some of the close-up camera views, he basically found a bunch of things that you could improve. I mean, I'm not the greatest expert at all of this, but basically it was making sure that every part of the player model in the game has the sort of correct 3D geometry, coordinates, textures, and everything, so that when you're looking at them, you see like creases in the pants and you see the proper like shadows from the head and from making sure it's the proper shading on the ground so that when you are in there you can see that. No, and along with that, it was just there's a whole bunch of other cleanup along with it as well. So making sure that when you're looking at some of the catcher gear on there, you're getting like a brighter reflection than you are on some of the pant, on some of the pant models and so on, so that everything just pops to you more, right? You can see the colors, you can see, the gear, you can see everything in full detail.
Matt, another thing is visually speaking, when we start seeing the animations for when the batter makes contact and the ball is popping off the bat, as it relates to launch angle, exit velocity, all of that, it sounds like we're going to be seeing a great relationship, if you will, between those data points and what we see jumping off the screen.
Yeah, and that's again part of the or continuing on the work that we've done the last few years. And it's not always, I know, I will readily admit, it's not always the most evident, it's not the most visible, and we do have challenges in the way that we run the system, that it's not always going to be perfect. I mean, I'll admit that. There's lots of plays that I really want to get through and fix. But we did a big pass through and a big effort to make sure that when you're getting the balls in play, that everything that you're seeing in the action is matching what the engine is generating to the best of its ability. And the fun part, I mean, the best part about this is that it's the sort of thing where you put in the effort and things like, it's not like, oh my God, this is fantastic off the bat necessarily, but you just, the more you watch, the more you go, it's like things go smoothly. The effects go, when the ball is going to the left side, it's a little like it just feels more how the play-by-play is going, right? Like it matches in more. So I mean, there's always more that we have to do. I mean, it's a massive task all the time, but we just try to make sure that what you see is what you get, and to make sure that when you have that crushing line drive, it feels like a crushing line drive, right? We just wanted to make sure that the in-game experience, the feel when you're playing out your games, when you're watching the games and you're watching a replay, that it looks and matches with the action you're going, right? Like we put in a lot of effort on the stats, and it's useless to put all the effort on the stats if you're not also matching the action on the field too. Yeah. So really it is just making sure that when you're going through, it looks good, and so much of the in-game feel, a lot, with the shadows, with the lighting, with the weather, with all when you put it all together, it just looks cleaner, it looks nicer, it's smoother. We've put in some other improvements too that we'll keep rolling out over time. We found sort of a new way to generate some more of the animations as well. So over the next little bit, we'll keep also rolling through and making sure that some of the little animation plays that you're seeing, that we can properly update them and just give you either more options or more realistic or just more variations, right? So the example I have for one is like the bunt animation for the last couple of years has been a pain every time you see your player bunt, because there was issues before, but we found sort of a new way, and now you have I think we have 3 or 4 new bunt animations. So when you see your player go for a bunt, if the pitch is high, if the pitch is low, you'll get a different experience there. All right. Over time, as I said, with this new way to update the animations, the hope is that we'll continue and add even more over the months and years to follow.
Matt, I'll tell you, just based upon what I've seen so far, OOTP has never looked better, and it's never played better than what we're about to see for OOTP 27. It's the road to release, everybody. Don't forget, you can pre-order right now. Get 10% off the full retail price, and when you pre-order today, you also get special access to the final beta version 3 days before launch day, which is March 13th.